Hi, it's me, it's T. I'm back again. Good to see you. Good to be back. It's been a while. So many things going on, guys. Yeesh. But it's life. I think it's just the season. Like we all have these seasons, and this season is the big one. It's been the big one that's lasted for a couple years. And woo, roller coaster. Um, but I'm back to say, hi. What are you doing? What have you been up to? Um, I'm doing okay, and I'm still plodding along, and I'm still getting my CV out there. Um, it's a tough one, guys, because I have completely two differing backgrounds, you know? I've got my operational end-to-end process, Lean Six Sigma project management background, and I've got my end-of-life doula, funeral celebrant, funeral arranger, working with bereavement and all of those other things, which is my newer side. Um, and so as I'm approaching these jobs, I have to make a decision, and see which job it is and what position it's for. So far, there's not a blend of these things. Um, I imagine whatever job I land in could be a blend of these things. Um, but I've had to learn to really like make two different CVs and, really kind of split things up a little bit. And to say, I've got further history if you want to know more about my software background. I'm happy to go through that with you. Or if I'm applying for something in software, then I have this other background if you're interested. Um, I think it would just be the one way, though, personally. I think if I were going for something around the funeral business or bereavement business, they might be interested at some point to know about my project management and all that kind of stuff because it can help a company as well. So, anyway, there's that. And last you heard, yeah, we were going to do a mother-daughter series. Um, Mom, me, Mom, me. That's what we're gonna call it, and we're still gonna call it that. My mom ended up breaking her arm in two places on her shoulder, her left arm, and she's left-handed. Good Lord, my mom. I love her so much. You know what? And this is the first broken bone she's ever had. So that's kind of shocking, and she told me the whole story about having the paramedics there, and I was, she was like so embarrassed. And she's talked about how difficult it was, feeling like everything was really hard to do on top of feeling all the things she's feeling, feeling a bit depressed, feeling a bit irrelevant, feeling all that stuff that goes with age, and having just moved back to California, started a new life. But yeah, she fell down, go boom. But luckily my sister was there to help her, and she's going to be fine. The word up is that she's healing really well. She's got good bones. Go, um, and she actually ended up spraining her ankle too, but she didn't really even know that till like weeks later when that ankle swelled up. And because you're in trauma, right? And you don't even notice, all of a sudden you're like, this hurts too. Um, but at first she was like, I feel like I'm gonna disappear. I feel like I don't want to talk to anybody. I kind of want to hide away because out of all the godforsaken things that could happen to me, this has happened to me, and I don't want it. And she went there for a while, and then we talked and we kept talking and we keep talking, and we've gotten now. She's doing an amazing, amazing job. She went out to the mall with my sister the other day, and they got a wheelchair, which to my mom was just like, oh my God. It's like me too. I'm just like, oh, I know I'm gonna fight it too. But she got it just so that she could get out. She's not gonna keep using it, but her her center of balance is off a bit, right? With the arm, and the sprained ankle. Um, Having both of those, it was good for her just to get out, and she also, I believe she's found a physical therapist, a woman who's going to help her, like, get her, center core back, tighten back up, and look at the ways she can help my mom, just help her where she's at now, grow where you're planted, right? So she's gonna start doing that. And she said she is more than happy to still be part of this. And she said, obviously, tell everyone I'll have more to add to the story. So I'm telling you now. She'll have so much more to add to the story. Holy smokes, will she? But there's always something, isn't there? There is always something. And for myself, I had to really kick my own backside, in so many ways, because, I wanted to do the giving up thing too, because it's hard going, it's a slog, right? Um, it's true. Sometimes things just don't get easier quick. Sometimes they take time and they take effort, they take work. I've done quite a few funerals lately. I've been a celebrant. I told you I was celebrant for my mom-in-law, and I did a funeral today for a woman who was just 58. Um, she had diabetes 1, and it took her, she struggled with it her whole life. She had it since she was 15. So it's that one. And she had so many close calls, and she fought and she fought and she fought. And this one, it was just her time. And what a beautiful family. What an honor to do the service. We did a really beautiful floral tribute. I laugh at my little yellow rose. She loved yellow roses, so I had one. Then it disappears, but I had one in my hair, that went with my dress, and everybody had on a pop of yellow. And at the end, we did this floral tribute where I take the long stems of roses, and either the next of kin, like her son, or myself, will hand the roses out and let each person put the rose on top of the coffin and say their final words. And because I think it's really important, I know there's rules and regulations, and I follow them all. You can choose to have the curtains closed after the committal during your funeral here in the UK. Same in America, I'm sure. But I ask people, do you want to keep them open? Because I would like to offer you the option of, taking the time as you're exiting to walk around to where your loved one is resting and say your own goodbye, put a post-it, put a note, put a flower, whatever. Place a kiss, say see you on the other side, whatever it is. And I asked this young man, because he is young, lost his mom really young. So wow, it was powerful. And he asked if I would do it because he was just in shreds. He was just weeping. And that happens, it's just you process it and you carry that load, especially when you're the person in charge, which he was for his mom. And he did a beautiful job. And he was so strong. And he had his kids and his ex-wife there to support him. And her ex-husband was there too. So the family all stuck together, which is beautiful. They're a strong family. And so I know I'm getting a bit misted, but just to have the opportunity to be there, to support them and give them that space and to love them through it, was a big honor. And it was a beautiful sunny day. People were fanning themselves in the chapel, which hardly ever happens around here because usually the chapels are quite cold. But the sun was beaming. She was a proud, beautiful day out, and everything looked gorgeous in the way the sun hit the flowers, and everything went as it should. And I felt really good about that. And I thought, man, I would just love to do that all the time. Um, I wish I could. It's just that you might know this too. And I've probably spoken about this before. being a funeral celebrant is a tricky one because you work with funeral directors who I love them all too. They're like family. I know so many of them, but a lot of times they have their own celebrants. And so they use their own people, and a lot of times they're family members. Yeah, so what are you going to do? Kick them out and say, have T do it? She's good at this. You just get out and let T do it. Um, it's a bit tricky, so you've got to be very pushy where that is concerned and knock on doors and ask and give your card out and say, I do funerals. I'm a celebrant. I help write eulogies. I work with families. I do work within bereavement as well. Um, with my end of life doula, I had to have some very good experience. Um, but you know what? Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to just one day just dress up, take my portfolio, which is just, some of the eulogies that I've done and a snack apparently. And if you're from the UK, then you know that's all right, like a tin of biscuits to have some tea with, and some of my cards and pens or something, just to say hi and introduce myself. It's the one thing that I haven't really done. Um, I guess it's a hard thing to do, isn't it? It's like walking up on stage, isn't it? And doing a performance because you're walking through the doors of a very busy office, with lots of different personalities and lots of different ways that they do things, and saying, "Hi, I'm me." I'd really be interested in seeing if you'd like to have me um, do some eulogies or officiate for you, or even work as a funeral arranger for you. I can do both. I'm really multi-talented. So it could be that I do something like that. It's getting that nerve down. Once I do it, I'm fine. If you know me, then you know I have experience of doing things like improv and small town theater and stuff like that, Drury Lane Repertory Theater, in small towns and stuff like that, and doing singing telegrams. And so there's a strange little part of me. I'm what I like to call an introverted extrovert. Any of you relate to that? To where you can actually go up on a stage, no problem, and talk to people and feel really great about it. And then you just need to go home and really rest up because it's just takes a lot out of you, but you love to do it. That's me. I I could do both. And I am both people. So I don't know. That's an idea as well. Um, and also in the meantime, I've looked at charities. There are certain charities that pay because they need people to do certain work for them. And that's another area, again, along the lines of bereavement that I'm starting to apply to. I'm also doing some certification in bereavement as well. So I've been studying that at the same time. I guess I'm doing a lot of things at once. The other thing I was thinking about doing, and I just wanted your opinion on this, because I don't know if you know this about me or not. Some of you will, some of you will not. But I am a total true crime buff. I am into true crime, have been since I was a kid. Since my mother had true crime books, I would be reading them. I'd be pulling them off the bookshelf and reading them myself. Um, and find them very fascinating, finding the people, the personalities, why. For me, I know some people find it morbid and they don't like it and they don't want to think about it, and that's completely all right. For me, it's more of a understanding the psychology of it or the psychopathy of it, um, and why it happens, and what happens in this person's lifetime that would make them take someone else's life or hurt them in some way. And I need to be careful of how I say things, and you know that on YouTube, so I will be careful. But I have thought of doing, maybe starting on the Madeline Soto case, um, about the young girl who had her life taken from her just after her 13th birthday in Florida. And she was also abused, essayed from the time she was about 7 or 8 from the same person. And we found things out in this case, and some of you may know this. It's very strange. It's a very strange case in that I'm having my hardest place to understand is the mother, Jen Soto. Um, I cannot figure her out, and usually I can figure people out. I'm trying to figure out where the heck she's coming from because what's happened is she's been told, obviously, from the police that they have uh, all of the photos that a gentleman by the name, not gentleman, but a guy named Stephen Stearns, um, put on his Google Drive. He wasn't even smart enough to put them off of a drive. He put them on his Google Drive. So believe me when I tell you that when the guys got hold of that, they easily found it. And they found it going back so far that Madeline was a little one. And the other thing is that her mother is not reacting in a way that I recognize. And I just sit and stare. And I know, half of the audience is like, she needs to go to jail because dang it, she should have damn well known what was going on under her roof. All this happened not only under her roof, but potentially in her own bed while she was sleeping. It looks like Madeline may have been drugged during some of this. And we know that the mother uses drugs to go to sleep. Um, and so she had this boyfriend for all these years, Stephen, um, Stefan. I have a hard time using his correct name, probably on purpose. Um, but it, when she was talking to the police officers in Florida, Kissimmee, it even blew my mind. They're like, okay, so Madeline had her own bedroom, but it was on the bottom floor. It was a kind of like a condo. And so Jen, the mom, was renting out 4 rooms to roommates. And one of these rooms belonged to Stephen Stearns. And when it didn't, it was just empty or was just the guest room. It still wasn't for Madeline. Madeline ended up being behind these dividers in the living room, which would mean she could hear what's going on in the kitchen in the morning and not have her place. But the thing is that Jen said that Madeline never liked to sleep by herself. She always wanted to sleep in her mom's bed. And well, is it any wonder, first of all, she was traumatized to high hell, folks. Um, but then we found out that when Mr. Stearns came to stay, they all three slept in the same bed. And I thought, this is horrible. This is really bad. And I thought I was going to hear, yeah, okay, so Jen slept in the middle, and the other two were on the other side. No, 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 Mr. Stearns was in the middle. He slept in the middle for all those years. And they said, well, did anything happen? Did you ever wake up and find them cuddling? And she's like, oh yeah, yeah, I did. Uh, just the way that she was reacting, there's so much more, and many of you have already watched it on some brilliant channels that already do this. And they have all the interviews and all that kind of stuff. They have all the audio, video that goes with it. But I have thought about doing it just because it is something um, that I'm very focused on. And I'm such an advocate for those who have gone through what Madeline went through. But this particular case, you got to tell me, are you just as perplexed as I am that this mother saw photos of what happened to her daughter while she was alive and younger? and wasn't very upset about that, but was upset about that her daughter was missing. And still, even now, doesn't sound like she's that upset. She even said, well, you know, the bed stuff, that was fine, but this other stuff, murder, that's bad. And then even when the police officer, and I'm paraphrasing here, guys, for YouTube, until I can figure out how we do that. But the police officers were like, that's strange that you react that way because I literally just showed you a picture of your daughter having this happen to her, and you did not emote. You didn't react. And the first thing you wanted to do when you found out that Mr. Stearns could be in trouble for murder is you wanted to get him a lawyer. You said, oh shit, we better get him a lawyer. That's what she said. I'm just quoting. Um, and she put him ahead of everything else. And that's another thing that tells me that something's gone horribly wrong here. And just watching Jen, just watching, you guys have seen her if you've watched any true crime, you've seen her body language. I know that she has some issues. She has some mental health issues. Yes, she does. There's no doubt about that. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is she's reacting very strangely, even so, to what's gone on here. And there was a part where they said, wow, it looks like your birthday. It was May 1st when she was having this interview, and it was hours before they found Madeline's body, as a matter of fact. It was on that day. But they said, oh, your birthday is just in a few days. And she wept. She cried her heart out and said, yeah, some kind of a birthday, and just was crying her heart out over that. Is she a narcissist? Is she is she someone who is incapable of seeing things through Madeline's eyes? It's almost like I have had a couple of times where I felt like she was thinking, you know, is Madeline going to take my man away from me? Because she did make some overtones. Jen did. I think it was during a police ride to the station that she worried that this might turn into a Woody Allen thing, that when Madeline was old enough, she might run off and marry Steven Stearns. What? Dude. I have to haul out dude for this, because that is bizarre. I just don't understand where she's coming from, guys. Love to hear what you think as well. This one's worth watching if you haven't seen it. Madeline Soto, Kissimmee, Florida. Mother's name is Jen Soto. Stephen or Steven Stearns case. Um, Madeline had just turned 13. She had her 13th birthday, and she was killed just a few days after that. And then it was about a week or so, I'd say, that they found her body because Mr. Stearns didn't do a very good job in hiding it. Um, there's a big long story about how all this happened, but there are so many true crime cases. Could go on forever with them. I think had I have studied even something else, because I've had lots of different studies, but if I studied crime, uh, I think I would have looked into this, into investigations like this and protecting children and people who are at risk for this to happen to them. Um, because we see it happen an awful lot. And maybe it always has. And now that we have the internets, we see it a lot more. Um, but for this, we see it a lot. And it worries me a lot about, I mean, just all over the place, how young women and men too, boys. I mean, can you imagine? I'm thinking about the age I am now. If I had to grow up in the world of Instagram and Snapchat and X and all that stuff, if I had to grow up in that world, I wouldn't have made it. I was not built for that. I couldn't have been built for that. There's no way I would have made it through. Um, but that's what the kids use now, and you've got to have that glam, you've got to do the makeup, you've got to have the look, you've got to have that body and all the stuff that goes with it, which costs money. And these kids are just, and they're talking constantly together about this, with each other. And they're also at risk at predators, because predators can easily, they can easily get into those places and get hold of kids and start talking to them and snag them, and they're gone. Or they're in these relationships they shouldn't be in because these are predators and they do not need to be with children, do they? Anyway, it's just another thought. If you wanted, since I have tea talks, we do other things like that, maybe once a week doing something about crime, maybe one of the current crimes that's going on, just to do a top to bottom, see where we're at. Maybe we find one that we follow all the way through if you guys are really into it and we feel like it's doing something good, for all of us and for the channel, then why not? Um, and we're still gonna do Mom, Me. We're still gonna do that because we still need to talk about women and men and aging and the job market and relationships and what it means to not be 20 or 30 anymore. And where do we go? And hey, we are the generation that people are looking at right now to say, what's it gonna be like? You know? But I'm a Gen Xer. I'll tell you that. I don't usually label everything up, but in this case I will because Gen X is a little bit unique that way. Um, we have our own style of doing things, and we are definitely the group that just doesn't seem to have an age. And I think that's just, we're just such chameleons in so many ways, and had to be kind of our own caretakers in some ways and explore the world. We did. Yes, we did. Um, but I think that it's a good group, to be part of, but it's also a group that loves to work with all the other groups. So it doesn't matter what age group you are. My particular generation just loves everybody that's older, everybody that's younger. We're very intrigued and interested in what's going on, unless or until you just, slam our fingers in some doors we don't like, then it's like, okay, bye. Fine, just say you don't want to listen to it or don't like it. Like, you don't have to love me or my luggage. Love me, love my luggage, or don't. It's completely fine. You won't see it, but occasionally I get these little dip-ins from the comments saying, well, I don't like this, or I don't like that, or you're this, or you're that. And I'm like, well, it's a damn good thing that YouTube is so big because I'm not the only channel. Go, go find something that's for you then, because clearly I'm not for you. And that's it. That's all. Just block them off and they're gone. All gone. No more. Um, because I don't have time for that. That's like a luxury I don't have, let's say, to just worry and worry and worry about what people are thinking about me. I don't have that luxury, nor do I feel like it anymore. That used to be a thing, used to be a big thing. But for now, no, not anymore. And that's one of the good things that happens with age. Um, so this has been kind of like a tea talk and a catch up because we needed one. And I just wanted you to know that I'm doing so much better, feeling more focused, feeling ready to move ahead again. And I'll keep you updated on all that. And I'll keep you updated on my mummy and tell you how she's doing. And keep you updated. Things change so fast around here, don't they? It's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You gotta keep an eye on things because things change really fast around here, don't they? Yes, they do. But anyway, it's been lovely to see you. You look fabulous as always. I know you do. And you're fabulous human beings, I know, because I've spoken to some of you. So take good care of yourselves. And thank you for tuning in again and for sticking around and for subscribing if you're new. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. That's growing our family. And one of these days, I'm going to have a live where we talk. I told you, we're going to do that too. So leave what you want to leave in the comments. Talk about anything that we talked about here or anything you want to talk about. Talk to me. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's new for you. And I'll be back real soon as always. And so I will say thanks for now. And it won't be as long this time till the next video. I won't wait so long. So take care and bye for now.